Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Post. I'm Sid Rosenberg for OpenSports.com, and, of course, the National Football Post. Week 7 is behind us. Let's welcome in Joe Fortenbaugh, the great fantasy expert at NF Post, to capture all the fallout. Joe, how are you, pal?
Doing good. Sid, what's up with you?
Busy weekend in the NFL as always, Joe. Let's get to it right now. The San Francisco 49ers came up just short in Houston on Sunday, but their near comeback was a big bright spot in fantasy land. Looks like the Niners have some guys outside of Frank Gore that may have some value.
Yeah, backup quarterback Alex Smith has now become the starter. He's taking over for Sean Hill. Very good performance in Houston. They did a lot of empty sets in the second half. Smith led him back. 3 touchdown passes, 200 yards. Looked very good. He could help some owners in deeper leagues that are in need of quarterback help. In addition, tight end Vernon Davis was outstanding. 96 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, all 3 of them in the second half. He's been playing great. Guy only had 9 touchdowns in his first 40 games, Sid, but he's already caught 6 this year. He has really turned it around. And in addition, rookie wide receiver Michael Crabtree, 5 receptions for 56 yards this weekend in his first game. Very impressive. He's seeing the targets. He may come around as a late wide receiver 3 option for owners in deeper leagues.
All right, Joe, let's hit the waiver wire. Obviously, Sean Green, the rookie out of Iowa, is going to be a big target after his strong performance, coupled with the fact that Leon Washington is done for the year with the Jets. But you have 2 other backs who may be in line for more playing time real soon. Who's that?
Jamal Charles from Kansas City. They are on the bye this week, so you can't use them. But I've been saying it for weeks. Larry Johnson only getting 2.7 yards per carry. Hasn't found the end zone yet. Now with all of his Twitter problems and everything he said after the game, the Chiefs have suspended him indefinitely. Looks like Charles is going to step into the role. This could be fantasy gold. I'm not talking big numbers. I'm not talking monstrous touchdowns, but this is a starting running back that you can find this late in the season. So Jamal Charles, definitely someone owners want to target. In addition to Charles, Jason Snelling, the backup running back for the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Turner is his job. 3.4 yards per carry, however, this year, but he has scored 7 touchdowns. Snelling has stepped in, had over 60 yards rushing on 9 carries against the Cowboys this past weekend. He's a nice backup option to handcuff with Turner, but other than that, you're not going to be able to use him too much unless there's an injury.
All right, Joe, the Buffalo Bills have a new quarterback with Trent Edwards out. Now all of a sudden the Bills at 3-4. Owners of Lee Evans are a little happier with Ryan Fitzpatrick under center. Seems Fitzpatrick is doing a nice job.
Evans has been outstanding in the last 2 weeks since Fitzpatrick took over. The Bills are 2-0 under Fitzpatrick. Evans has caught 9 passes for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. Sid, that's practically half of what he had produced in the 5 weeks prior to this. Evans' numbers have shot through the roof. He is fantasy relevant again. You can get him back in the lineup. Fitzpatrick hasn't been lighting up the skies, only has just over 200 yards passing in 2 weeks, but obviously he likes to target Lee Evans. Lee Evans is back in the mix.
All right, Joe, time now to buy or sell. The fun part of today's program. Number 1, Beanie Wells in Arizona took over after Tim Hightower fumbled on Sunday night against the Giants. Buy or sell the rookie, Beanie Wells.
Right now, I'm buying Beanie Wells. Career highs in yards, carries, and he scored his first touchdown against the Giants. A very tough run defense on the road. He has had trouble holding onto the football, and he's not a pass catcher, so he's not going to help out too much in PPR leagues. However, Wells is slowly starting to take the job away from Hightower. 26 carries in his last 2 games, compared to only 23 carries through the first 4 games. Beanie Wells is on the rise.
Joe, let's go to Dallas. Jerry Jones proclaimed last week that Tashard Choice would get a big workload against Atlanta. The result? 0 carries. Buy or sell Tashard Choice.
Selling Choice, and it's not because he's not a good running back, but between Marion Barber and the return of Felix Jones, who had 8 carries this past weekend, Choice's role is going to be significantly decreased. He's only going to see maybe a couple touches per game unless there is another injury. He's not fantasy relevant at this point. Selling Tashard Choice. New
Orleans Saints running back Mike Bell entered the game last Sunday against the Dolphins, had an immediate impact. Buy or sell Mike Bell from the Saints as a better option now than Pierre Thomas.
I'm buying Mike Bell over Pierre Thomas. That was a big statement he made in that game against the Dolphins. Pierre Thomas could not get anything going on the ground in the first half. The Dolphins' defense was outstanding. In the second half, they played back a little bit. They didn't want Drew Brees and the Saints to throw all over him, and that was a problem because Mike Bell ate them up. He's a big, physical, between the tackles back. It's what the Saints have been looking for years to complement with Reggie Bush. Right now, Mike Bell looks to be the guy. I'm buying him.
All right, rookie out of North Carolina, wide receiver Hakeem Nicks with a crazy touchdown Sunday night for the Giants versus Arizona. Joe now has 4 touchdowns in 4 games. Buy or sell the rookie for the Giants, Hakeem Nicks.
Got to buy him. At this point, Hakeem Nicks is one of those guys, he finds ways to make plays, no matter if it's a tip, no matter if it's a screen pass. He just always gets it done. 4 touchdowns, like you said, Sid, over the last 4 games. What's more important, he's seen 15 targets in his last 2 games. That's pretty darn good for a rookie wide receiver. Anyone who's seen a lot of targets I like, I'm buying Hakeem Nicks.
Finally, wrap things up with Mike Wallace with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Been finding the end zone now. What about Wallace for the Steelers?
Wallace reminds me a lot of Nate Washington, who was with the Steelers from last year. Very speedy receiver from the outside, can get vertical, is excellent at stretching the field. Problem is, he's only averaging 3 receptions per game. He's seeing only 4.7 targets per week, but when he gets them, he makes them count. So consider Mike Wallace a 3rd wide receiver option in deeper leagues. If he starts to see more touches, look out. This guy could be the next big thing.
Wow, how about that? All right, Joe, as always, terrific information. Again, we'll see you on Thursday for more fantasy coverage right here on the Fantasy Football Post. Joe, as always, a spectacular job.
Thanks, Ed. Have a good one.
All right, you too, Pi. You can also follow Joe on Twitter at Joe Fortenbaugh. That's B-A-U-G-H for more great fantasy updates. And, of course, read all his great writings at nfpost.com. My main man, Joe Fortenbaugh. I'm Sid Rosenberg. And, as always, folks, enjoy the football.